Hello and welcome back to Baron's New Vegas Gun Guide, and today we're reviewing one of the most recognizable firearms of the modern era. Known in-game as the Service Rifle, it combines the lines and looks of the AR-15 and AR-10, AR in this case standing for Armalite. And as most people know, this weapon has served as the template for the long-lived M16. Now, why is it called a Service Rifle? It's based on the fact that it is a service weapon, which is also known as a standard issue weapon. The base definition of being any weapon that is given to infantry in any army, police, or security detail. The name makes sense as it's almost exclusively found in the hands of living or dead NCR troopers and the supply caches that they leave behind. Now, the real-world weapons, the AR-10 and AR-15, are famous and well known for their development early in the Cold War. The AR-10 was the first of these, using New Age materials, namely plastic, for its furniture, and a fairly ingenious gas blowback system, all chambered in 7.62mm or 308, same as the FNFAL which it was competing against. Almost all of these new designs Armalite were making in the 50s were the brainchild of their chief engineer, Eugene Stoner, whose weapons rivaled Browning in their widespread influence. In 1956, the first model was introduced, and it was promising. The AR-10 was a step into the new world of lightweight rifles and sophisticated recoil systems. Sadly, some of the steps in alloying caused the failure of the AR-10. One barrel burst during testing due to an aluminum steel alloy barrel. Having failed the trials with the larger caliber rifle, in 1957 they decided to size down the AR-10 into the AR-15, which fit the .223 and the 5.56mm round, and that is the model used in the game. However, the gun in real life did not see immediate success. Both rifles never saw real use in America while with the company Armalite, but other countries kept the company alive for a few years. Sadly, these weapon sales could not keep Armalite afloat, and they sold off the design to Colt, who moved some things around and submitted for the US Army to consider. The US military was wanting to replace the Grand, which had one divergent successor in the M14, but needed a lighter and more compact service weapon, and that came in the form of the M16, finally finished in the hands of Colt. The AR-15 and AR-10 stayed as the name of the semi-auto civilian variants of these rifles, and cemented themselves as America's rifle, especially with its impressive accuracy over most other competitors, both in the civilian and military market at the time. Now, there's one more thing to note about the in-game service rifles, although this info comes from the designer and isn't in-game. Although the real-world ARs, as we've talked about, use a lot of plastic, fiberglass, and lightweight synthetics, the service rifle in-game uses wood. And according to Joshua Sawyer, this wood furniture is pre-war, which means the NCR either have some good laminate, or the warehouse these were found in was both expansive and well-sheltered. Either way, it's somewhat safe to assume that not all trees are gone in Fallout, since the gunrunners do make these rifles for the NCR. But the expanse of the Mojave Desert during the post-war means that there's none there, and there's probably some in more mountainous regions like Jacobstown or east of the Rocky Mountains. Now, for those that don't find the wood distracting, we can move on. For the standard issue weapon of the NCR, the service rifle is a glorified varmint rifle. At 18 damage, the service rifle is weak, to say the least. But whereas the varmint rifle was a bolt action, the service rifle is a semi-auto. At a rate of fire of 4.2 shots per second, it is 3.5 times faster than the varmint rifle, if you can click that fast. It has as much of a leg up on DPS at 75.6, and with a capacity of 20 in each mag and a reload of 20 seconds, it has a sustained DPS of 55.2, much better for longer gunfights. But there is a price that comes with the speed, and that is spread. It is not perfect at 0.55, which is less than carbo repeaters. And as a result, it is also cheaper to use in VATS at only 15 AP to shoot a single shot, an efficiency of 1.2, which is quite respectable. As it's expected, its crit performance is fairly normal, at a 1x% multiplier with double damage if you manage it. Nothing game-changing, but with a higher volume of fire, it can do some good work. The sustained DPS alone is enough to separate this from the varmint rifle, allowing faster and more follow-up shots, even if the damage isn't one hitting any human enemies. Now, outside of VATS and stealth shots, it does take a little bit of getting used to the sights, as it requires you to judge the negative space between two foreposts, but with a little bit of work it's not so bad, although it will hamper you from shooting long-range shots. Now, for the standard weapon of the NCR, the weapon is cheap enough to be considered a starter weapon. At 540 caps, it is great value, especially when you take into account its durability. 1,995 standard rounds, 662 rounds of surplus ammo, and a whopping 2,495 rounds of 223 ammo. They definitely knew how to make rifles in the pre-war period. Now, due to the high durability and cheap price, the service rifle is a more attractive option for dipping into your modding budget, and it has 2 weapon mods available: the upgraded springs and the forged receiver. The upgraded springs increase the fire rate by 30%, from 4.2 to 5.46 shots per second maximum. This can help offset the penalties of traits like trigger discipline, while benefiting a lot due to the increased accuracy and low AP cost of the service rifle. But it does cost more than the rifle altogether, at 850 caps. Now, the forged receiver boosts durability by 50%, meaning it can now fire 2,995 shots of normal ammo. Surplus ammo jumps up to 995 shots, and 3,745 shots of 223 ammo, for a much cheaper value of 650 caps, which isn't quite as economical as getting a new gun, but means the upgraded springs purchase will go further. The forged receiver also changes the visuals of the service rifle, making the metal of the rifle look darker, and it has no pin joints that pokes through. Now, there are 2 more mods that were planned: a bayonet, which probably would have been used with a bash mechanic, but obviously never got implemented until Fallout 4, and then a reflex sight, which was never implemented for unknown reasons. But the reflex sight probably would have been priced around 750 caps, which would have provided slight magnification and a much clearer point of the gun. A very useful, but sadly cut mod. In total, with mods, in-game, the service rifle can jump to 2,040 caps in price without truly changing its utility. If using repair kits without unofficial patches, you might get decreasing health of the forged receiver, but if you do have patches, it will increase the value of each repair kit used on the rifle. There is also a bug that originates with surplus ammo that can actually cause your gun to always increase to 100% after you fire your first shot of surplus. It hasn't always happened, and it's not on all consoles or platforms, but it is a possibility. Now, for the ammo, now that we've talked about it, it's the usual fare, same as the Varmint rifle. Standard ammo costs 2 caps per round, does normal damage. Armor-piercing ammo costs 4 caps per round, doing only 95% damage, but reduces enemy DT by 15. It's very crucial for tackling bigger foes, especially with the low base damage of the service rifle. The hollow point is 4 caps as well, and acts like the rest, increasing damage by 75%, but tripling enemy DT. Now, 223 ammo is the low-powered and low-wear round, costing 1 cap per round, doing 90% damage, but only 80% damage to the gun. And then there's the cheap, loaded hot, and available in bulk surplus ammo, 100 caps for 250 rounds. This ammo does 15% more damage than standard, but wears down the gun 3 times faster. Now, besides caps, there are some low requirements to wield the gun effectively. There's a 25 guns requirement, but only a strength requirement of 2, which allows even the most noodly armed courier to use it. It does have a weight of 8.5, which makes it quite encumbering to grab a couple of them off your foes. Now, the service rifle has no unique variants, outside of a DLC weapon, which we will cover in the Honest Hearts series. Now, where can you find a service rifle, other than the hands of every NCR trooper you ever see? Now, it can be found inside a ruined building in the South Vegas ruins, the abandoned building in Boulder City, and a bungalow in Jacobstown. The Bloodborne and Camp Guardian caves, along with an unmarked Coyote cave near Prim, have a copy. Blake, Johnson Nash, Lacey, and the Vendatron sell the weapon, while 2 can be earned from completing We Will All Go Together and Can You Find It in Your Heart. These 2 quests are from Camp Searchlight and the Mojave Outpost, respectively. But, as mentioned before, if you want to kill something, a Legion player will find these by the truckload, as every NCR trooper outside of like veteran rangers will be carrying one of these. Now, for how it rates, it's not the best. It's a standard weapon, it's not a specialist weapon, which the courier typically is a more specialized person in the setting of Fallout. There are more powerful weapons with better stats that use 5.56 ammo alone. But the service rifle is easy to get and much cheaper than those options, giving players a more modern offering for the starting weapon, as well as giving Legion players an easy gun to pick up and shoot. It is an upgrade to the Varmint rifle, but not for long, and will soon become hated as heavy trash used to repair your better weapons on the spot, and lacking a unique version in the base game, it struggles against the Varmint rifle, which has the Rat Slayer, which, as we reviewed in the previous video, is the perfect sniper's tool until you get the perfect sniper's tool. All in all, service rifles, use them, hate them, doesn't much matter. They're here to stay in the Mojave and will always be close at hand.